Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, August 16th. A lot of lightning activity on the map and some winds coming in off the Sierra front today, approaching 30 miles per hour with dryness in some areas. But the bigger concern will be the widespread lightning, wetter in the southern areas, but drier across northeastern Nevada and into a good portion of Idaho, including the higher terrain of Idaho, which is critically dry. The good news is as we go into Friday, those thunderstorms will become wetter into the mountains and start exiting out of the region on Saturday. Still some wind issues, westerly winds gusting to near 30 in far northwestern Nevada. Precipitation over the past 24 hours. We did have some wetting rains in those darker shades of blue, anywhere from a quarter inch to local pockets of a half inch across parts of Nevada and also into southern and central Utah, mainly across the higher terrain. A lot of this stuff on the outer periphery is just a few hundredths of an inch, and a lot of this actually did not even reach the ground. These are actually radar estimates. Unfortunately, they can't estimate the dry air near the ground surface very well. But we did have a lot of lightning across areas, especially across Nevada. It's the drier half of this lightning, which occurred with less precipitation, that we're kind of concerned about. And we'll have to keep this map in mind as we dry out later in the weekend for the potential holdovers in some of our heavier fuels. Here's our current fire activity. New fire starts in the red, existing fires in the yellow, large fires with teams in the open purple circles. Precipitation over the past 7 days, bone dry across the northern half of the Great Basin. Some precipitation further south. This excludes the past 24 hours, of course. The bigger story is the past 30 days. Not only the dryness in our northern areas, especially all of Idaho, barely any rain going well back into July, but also even these pockets here that are normally wet across eastern Utah. You see these lighter shades of blue, just a few hundredths of an inch. Normally these places get bombed with precipitation. They should be green, dark green, or yellow here. Lots of drier islands across parts of Utah that normally are wetter. And that's reflected in our ERCs. A lot of these ERCs in the red here are in the 80th to approaching the 90th percentile, and that's where the Bear Claw fire is burning, also even up towards Cold Hollow and Dollar Ridge. Elsewhere further north, very dry ERC levels, near record levels. These purples here indicate 97th percentile to near record level ERCs across the far northern tiers of Utah and Nevada and into most of Idaho and even a station here in Wyoming. Western Wyoming is starting to dry out now. We'll have to watch them for the potential of lightning and also some larger fire growth. Looking at individual stations up in the Payette, you can see their ERCs up here, record levels. Down here in the southern Sawtooth, right on the border of Utah, also at record levels. And across the Uinta, Wasatch area, also at record levels of ERCs. Satellite imagery. Under this high, we are picking up some monsoonal moisture being pushed northwards, and it's broken up. It's not consolidated. It's this northern chunk going into Idaho that will be the biggest concern, as well as for far northern Nevada and Utah today. Anything further south should be on the drier side, and it's this trough of low pressure here that's kind of off the Pacific Northwest coast that'll be the trigger mechanism to initiate lots of thunderstorms with this moisture later today into tomorrow. So for today, here's the moisture coming in these greener areas, deeper moisture to the south. Here is our high risk for lightning. It could be isolated in coverage through here, but it should be on the drier side, also for parts of northern Utah as well. And on the left-hand side is the precipitation map. You can see it focused here across northern Nevada, and these little pin drop dots that you see here all across Idaho is a fairly good indicator of drier lightning. Also through here across parts of northern Utah as well, although it could be locally wetter across the higher crest of the Uintas. Winds overall fairly light, mostly out of the southwest at 5 to 15, but locally higher gusts. We see these little purple circles. Those are thunderstorm outdrafts that could briefly cause gusts of over 35 miles an hour. Now on Friday, a little bit more green here over Utah, and there's this trough of low pressure, little trough here. This could initiate more thunderstorms, but this could be almost too much of a good thing. The thunderstorms could be going wetter. We are seeing the evidence of that, and some of these fuels will briefly be going to the yellow and green. The lightning could be drier up into Montana, where they still have high risk in effect for lightning. And we could see some gusty west-southwest winds approaching 30 miles per hour with lower humidity across parts of northwestern Nevada, otherwise moistening up to the south. Our precipitation map on the left shows continuation of precipitation, a bit more green here, which are amounts about a 0.15 to a third of an inch. So this will be more of a wetting rain, at least more wet than dry at this point. And some pockets up in Idaho and the Payette could get locally over a half inch of rainfall. Winds primarily out of the southwest, a little bit gusty off the Sierra front, but otherwise not too bad except in the vicinity of thunderstorms where outdrafts could again occur. Now on Saturday, drier air starts to move in. There'll probably be some lingering showers and thunderstorms in the morning hours, but that should be drying out. You can see our significant fire potential on the right-hand side. Precipitation Saturday, most of this will be in the pre-dawn to morning hours, but moving out by afternoon into far eastern areas of Idaho and Wyoming, so it looks a little bit worse than it really is. What we will notice here on the right-hand side, as drier air pushes in during the afternoon, we'll get some northwest winds, maybe 15 to 25 miles per hour, maybe locally higher gusts near 30 or 35 across the mountains of eastern Idaho. And that could be a concern. We'll have to see how much rain we get and how much lightning and how this wind comes into play. And this wind will extend down into parts of northern and central Utah and further south into Nevada as well. Precipitation over the next 3 days. On the light side, we see the light shade of green, but the second shade of green is a wetting rain, a tenth to a quarter inch of rain. You can see it over Idaho and parts of Wyoming as well, and even into the parts of the Wasatch and Uintas. Now on Sunday, we start drying out. Here we do have another trough of low pressure coming in, and this could trigger some thunderstorms possibly as we go into Sunday or Monday, but drier air to the south. And you can see by Monday, we do have these little green pin drops here. This is where the model thinks that thunderstorms will be occurring. We haven't issued high risk yet. It'll depend on how much or how little rain we get with this first system in the next 24 hours, whether this will be critical or not. As we go into Tuesday, deeper moisture pushing up across the southern half of Utah. This could aid some of our existing fires through here with more moisture. And then Wednesday, moisture moves on out. We're kind of in seasonable conditions. Not too hot, not too cold. Could be some low-end gusty winds across parts of Idaho, but otherwise nothing significant. Precipitation average through the whole 7 days shows in the blue and dark green areas anywhere from a quarter to a half inch or more over a good portion of Utah, including some of our existing large fires, and maybe even into parts of the mountains of central Idaho and into parts of Wyoming. So this could knock things down a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. But in the long-range 8 to 14-day outlook, above normal temperatures across a good portion of the Great Basin, especially the western side. Below normal precipitation to the north. The best monsoonal signal here stays across our far southern areas. And this concludes our briefing. Have a great day.